Before I started this adventure, I had no clue how to design a game. I just thought maybe I can find some videos on YouTube and figure out how this thing works. So I thought maybe I can share some of my resources that I use along the way. The great thing about YouTube is you can just type in whatever you're interested in and you'll get a list for days full of videos that you can watch. So the first thing that I did was type in game design because I figured I'd need to have kind of an idea of how games are built, not in a sense of what type of coding would I need but just the thought process that people use to come up with games. So for me, it started by looking up what game design was all about. So my first tip would be to look up what game design is. GDC's YouTube channel is full of videos by experts from the field. And there's probably some designer in there that is from your favorite game developer. I saw a great presentation by a designer at Naughty Dog. It was back in the day when they were still developing Last of Us Part 1. And it was a great video about their melee system. Your first instinct might be to think that these videos are not meant for beginners, but there's so much to learn by watching these experts at work. Like one small thing that I noticed, for example, is while he was going through the animations, there was this one animation that he showed where the animation was pretty jarring when played in slow motion. But when you played it in real time, you didn't see the jump. And that's something that I can definitely play around with even on my level as a beginner or newbie to the game. Because now when I'm animating, I'm not afraid of making bigger moves and bigger jumps in between keyframes. So because of these small things that you'll learn by looking at the experts, I would highly recommend watching these GDC videos. And some of them are on AI and things that are probably going to come in handy later down the road. But I would highly recommend their YouTube channel. Next up, I want to share 5 YouTubers that I follow. They create really great tutorials and great content that I really enjoy and I learned a lot from. So first up is Acert. He's a really great YouTuber. I think he does streams as well. I haven't checked Twitch yet. His video on beginner animation tips is really great. Like his tip for pinning the timeline was a lifesaver. Like I don't know why I didn't think of that. Neon the Coder is another really great resource for tutorials. Something that's really nice about Neon is you should definitely look him up on Dreams as well, because he has shared some of his elements that you can use for your own games or pick apart to see how he makes it work. That's a general thing, that if you find somebody on YouTube that is sharing really great tutorials, try and find them on Dreams and see if they have any elements that you can use. Tapcows is somebody that you really need to keep an eye on because he's everywhere. He's on Reddit, on Twitter, and on YouTube. He actually helped me out with the puppet for my character, and he's somebody that's really happy to help. Just a general, like a guy that's really approachable. So if you're ever facing a problem that you don't know how to fix in Dreams, I guess don't be afraid to reach out to him. Mr. Whooshy. I actually found this guy when he was doing this live stream, and people were asking him like pretty difficult things, like how to make a weapon wheel. I was like, why? And he has some really well-produced tutorials, a great one about character basics and how to do a custom run animation. So definitely check him out. And finally, Intratech Out. Especially if you're into first-person shooters, he has a lot of in-depth tutorials on how to do that. He also has a template on Dreams that you can use, and videos on YouTube that show you how to use that. So in general, I think he's a great resource for more advanced techniques in Dreams, especially AI and spawning enemies. And it's nice to see that he also has these videos where he explains his process of designing his games, which is really helpful to find out like the small details about the process. One of the great things about Dreams is that not only can you play games, create your own games, you can also remix games by other people. And I've learned a lot by opening up these games that have been uploaded to be remixable, and just tinkering with them and looking into how they solved problems that I'm facing. So when I hit a roadblock and I don't know how to do something, I try to find a similar game or maybe some of the templates that Media Molecule uploaded. But I think it's a great resource to open up these templates or games by other people and look into their chips and see how they solve the problem. And finally, don't be afraid to ask for help on Twitter or on YouTube. All of these people are very happy to help. And especially on Twitter, I think it's a really good idea to kind of embed in the community, and just share some of the things that you're working on. There are some people that work at Media Molecule as well that are kind of scouring through tweets and commenting. So if you have questions, just Twitter is a really great place to be for dreamers. So I've been working on Stomp the World, and the basic mechanic is basically done. I think there's a lot more polished work to do, but from this point on, I can focus a bit more on the level design and what the world looks like. In thinking about that, I've noticed that I need to learn a lot more about sculpting. I've made my life easy by going for a very geometrical shape as the character, but the world needs to have a bit more detail and interesting shapes. So I'm gonna have to learn a bit more about that. And if you have any tips or ideas or people that I should follow for sculpting, please share. And as always, just subscribe and like to stay in the loop. Talk soon.